take a motion to, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
And a second,
I'll second.
everybody in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Saying none, the motion passes. I have, one out the floor to public comments at 6:04. This portion is for comments on the items not scheduled for public hearing this evening. Speakers are asked to state their name and address for the record. Is there any comments from crowd? Okay, being no further comments, public comments are now closed at 6:05. We'll now open the public hearing for rezoning request RZ 04-2026 at 6:05 p.m. We have a staff presentation. I'll ask the staff to present the rezoning request.
Okay, this is ours. Can you hear me?
It was doing that on Monday. You gotta speak up a little bit.
That's not going through.
Can you hear me now?
I think it's just turned down. It's okay.
Okay. RZ 04-2026. Rezoning of 25.96 plus or minus acres located along West Main Street. Applicant and property owner is Green Up Holdings LLC, Bruce Bellington. Request is from agriculture in Lafayette County to I-1. This is subject to would not take effect unless the subject property is annexed into the city. We did have our public hearing on that. That was this Monday. So they will vote on that at the next meeting. So it will be contingent upon that. It is from ag to I-1, and I've included the application, location map, public notice, affidavit of publication, a letter to the neighbors within 185 feet, addresses of the neighbors that were sent the letter, and the code of ordinance. The Board of Aldermen meeting will be on Monday, April 22nd. And staff does recommend approval of the rezoning from agriculture to I-1.
I'll now invite the applicant or their representatives to speak. Speakers are asked to state their name and address for the record.
Okay.
Applicant is not here.
All right.
She included the letter. I don't see it. Okay.
So the first one I sent out did not have that, but I sent it in the second. So it should be the one I gave you today. It's after the,
I think it's another.
after the map.
Yeah, it's back there. Thank you. It looks like this one. There's a safety of property. Good.
You find,
Yes.
We'll now open the public hearing for comments specifically related to the rezoning request. Rezoning RZ 04-2026, 25.96 plus or minus acres along West Main Street, parcel number 23-1.0-02-0 -000-001.000. Proposed zoning change, current agricultural, Lafayette County, proposed I-1 light industrial. Speakers should state their name and address for the record. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this rezoning request? Go ahead and step on the third.
How are you guys? I'm Robbie Rucker. I actually live in Lee Summit. My address is 7706 Teal Court. I am the CEO of Advanced Industries. So the zoning request that you've got is actually for us to purchase land. So we are looking to purchase that land to be able to expand facilities inside of Odessa. Without this purchase, it will severely restrict our ability to grow. We're a defense company. You guys know us here in town. We're the largest employer in Lafayette County. And I want to keep it that way. Without the ability to grow, some of the things that we're going to have to do are going to get restricted. We're already restricted. Just put up a building with the help of Garrett last year. We're now leasing a building. And we've already outgrown every footprint we've got. So what I want to do is I want to continue to bring jobs to this area, to develop that growth and continue to be a good participant as the largest employer in this area. We need this land. So the request that we've got with the contingencies is what's going to allow us to be able to build on that property. What we're going to do for not just today, but the future. It should give us the ability to, at least double its size. You guys pay attention to what's going on in the world right now? The need for the products that we manufacture and what we support, and from a production standpoint, it's the backbone of what's happening in Iran right now. I'll tell you that. Some of the programs that we're on are not things I can talk about. Some of the programs we want to be on, I can't necessarily talk about, but I can tell you that it essentially ensures our freedom. So this property is going to allow us to keep doing that, providing that support out of Odessa. Without it, we'll be forced to look at different options. So that's the request that's going. It's helping us grow and continue to create good jobs, good paying jobs, and stability for this. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to speak in favor of this? Alrighty. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of the rezoning request? Come on.
I'm Timothy Von England, and we have the farm at 7717 Golden Road there. And I guess since we're just across from the railroad tracks from that tract of land, we'd kind of like to know what's going to be going on there. And I did hear you say that there's going to be jobs that'll come out of it. I'm not against jobs, and I'm not against having defense stuff going on too. But I don't know what's going to be there, and I don't know what. I know there's water that runs down from there onto our farm, and I would like to know what kind of chemicals will be involved there and that kind of stuff. I guess it's just I have more questions than anything tonight, because I just learned about this. Miss Neal sent me a letter, which I appreciate, and we'd like to make sure that the land there that has been in the family for a long time is kept, ecologically sound. So that's my only comment.
Thanks, sir. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in opposition? Alrighty. This public hearing is now closed at 6:13 PM. Is there any further discussion from the commission on rezoning request RZ 04/2026?
Is there anything you can say towards what is questions
Yeah,
are?
so the operations that we have today don't have any chemicals. What we do is we build aluminum containers for missiles and weapons. We've been producing those here in town since like the 1970s, 1960s, so they're over 50 years. Everything that we have from a chemical standpoint is controlled not only by OSHA standards, but also local state standards. And we've been producing the containers in some is the same way for 40 years. So but from a chemical standpoint, there's nothing there, and there's a number of regulations and things that we have to follow to ensure that nothing is going to happen. Just from standards and things that we have to practice. From a facility standpoint, what we need is additional space to build these. So it would be welding facilities, assembly facilities, and then places to put CNC machines. So essentially aluminum manufacturing. It's the same exact operation that we've got on First Street, same exact operation we've got Dryden, same that we've got on 7th Street now. And then there would also be storage of materials, obviously, that you see probably in town, where we've got exterior yards that have aluminum stacks of material that are fenced off, as well as potentially warehouse storage, things developed to that. What's planned to be built right now? Nothing, to be honest with you. We know that there's a need, and I'm going to put a plan together to build something. What space would be used would be small to start with. We're obviously a business, so we've got to make sure that whatever we invest, there's a return on that, there's a long-term program, etc. So at the beginning of it, I could see potentially 20 to 40,000 square feet of manufacturing space. With the potential to get up to maybe, I think maybe 200,000, but that's like pie in the sky, long term. I don't even think that's as big as the MFA's facility that's right next door. You think got more space there. But what it does, and this is probably more information you guys need, but if you look at what we've done in the last year and a half of Advanced Industries, I've hired over 130 people. So we've increased from about 150 people in town to we're over 280. So we're creating good paying jobs. There's things that we do to ensure that those jobs are high paying. If we're able to win this work, we're able to keep growing. I could see that space will allow us to get that to maybe 500. I also think that space is going to allow us to relieve some of the pressures of our growth in town, with additional space for storage, additional space for manufacturing, parking spaces, things like that, can be absorbed. So frankly, it does a lot to not only allow us to grow, allow us to invest in this area, continue to grow in this area, but I think it's going to improve other parts of where we're at.
So one thing I was wondering, do you manufacture the aluminum, or are you buying the aluminum and then putting it together at some sort
We
of?
buy it, so everything is all raw materials purchased. Okay, so there's aluminum forging houses, and aluminum sheet mills, things like that, buying raw products. So when we say manufacture, it's taking a piece of aluminum, cutting it to size or building it to size, welding it together.
So another question, what kind of noise would come from that manufacturing?
we're in the middle of town right now. So it's pretty good skill. Machines are quiet, the loudest thing, frankly, is I think we get over 80 decibels the loudest. But if you want to come over to our facility, I'll take that. I'll let you see what, no problem, you can see what it is with the plant. Because it's not gonna be disrupted the way that. We have facilities that sit next to homes within 100 yards. Appreciate your information. Absolutely. You're more welcome to come down. I will take you out for it. Yeah. I'll take you up on.
Is there any questions? Mission?
I more so just have concerns about the foot traffic on that side of Main. Cause I mean, if you go down Main, that's how I get to my house, no large trucks are allowed to go down. So on that side of Main, once you go down that hill, if we're annexing it in, that road stops and then was counted, right? Because like I can see exactly where cause they tested, we got that new street paving thing, like that's where they tested resurfacing the street up.
I don't know, I'm not aware.
That's where they did. So which is right over there. So I am concerned about that intersection right there. And everything just with higher traffic and everything like that. So I think that's something we need to take into consideration if we are looking at potentially in the future having 500 people coming to work in this area. That's going to be a lot of traffic on Main Street. Plus, we're also looking at the Hill project right here, potentially being a lot of traffic. You know, one point, this was one of my concerns is that like 9th Street right there, and Sean and I have talked about this in the past, that when I was a private citizen about, well, I'm still a private citizen, but you know, about how 9th Street will connect eventually to Business 70 right there, and so, you know, I think that's something that we definitely need to consider as long-term action road to Main, how that traffic could increase.
I can speak to that, I guess. It's definitely an area of focus for the city. Obviously, funds are not easily accessible for us. We only have so much to work with when it comes to transportation improvements, but we've already kind of started very early preliminary discussions about some type of public-private partnership to improve that area, not just for this project, but that is per our zoning map, that is our future industrial area that the city itself is trying to bring more jobs. Again, beyond this project, we're trying to attract industrial clients to that area of our community, and the road is probably the number one thing that would be able to allow us to do so. So we recognize that it's very important that really all three of those roads are improved. But to provide you with the timeline and how soon we would be able to do that, I could not do that. But West Main, Action Road, and Reich Road are all in need of repair, generally speaking, but also upgrades to be able to support the industrial growth and industrial customers that would be out in that area.
Any other questions or comments? Can I get a motion for rezoning RZ 042026?
I'll move that we approve the rezoning RZ 042026 from agriculture to light industrial as requested.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion needed? Okay, Jen, you do a roll.
Matt,
Yeah.
Mary, Seth.
Yep.
David.
Yes.
Alrighty, so by my count, that motion is approved. We'll now open the public hearing for rezoning request RZ 052026 at 6:24 PM. Last staff will then the rezoning request.
Okay, this is RC 05/2026, other rezoning application. 32.932 plus or minus acres located along West Main Street. Applicant and property owner are the same, Green Up Holdings LLC, Bruce Bellington. This one is in the city limits already, so not contingent upon annexation. Zoning request is from ag to I1. And I have included the application, location map, public notice, affidavit of publication, the letters to neighbors within 185 feet, addresses of the neighbors in the code of ordinance. And this meeting will go to the board also on Monday, April 27th. And staff recommends approval of the rezoning request from ag to I1.
Thank you. I now invite the applicant or their representative to speak. Speakers are asked to state their name and address for the record. All right. We'll now open the public hearing for comments specifically related to the rezoning request, rezoning RZ 05/2026 32.932 plus or minus acres along West Main Street, parcel number 23-1.0-02-1-000-044.010. Proposed zoning change, current ag. Proposed I1 light industrial. Speakers should state their name and address for the record. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this rezoning request?
John, speak again.
You don't have to. But thank you. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of this rezoning request? Alrighty, public hearing is now closed at 6:26 PM. Is there any further discussion from the commission on the rezoning request RZ 05/2026?
I always have something to ask.
Mhm.
So on this one, since it backs up to houses. I know we talked about this, but I can't remember what we talked about. Does that mean that there needs to be a fence put in? To block
Ooh,
that
that's a good
sunset?
question.
Because if I remember correct, we just talked about this and then there would have to be a fence that would block the view that. The builder would have to put in since it's backing directly up to houses.
Well, what we were talking about was in regards to storage containers. So if they had storage containers and our ordinance that we've been working on is approved and we keep the fencing language in there, then yes. But to our current ordinance, I don't know that it would require fencing at this time. I
You have the concern of. I love jobs, not trying to say anything about that, but I do worry about houses and kids and.
So being a defense company, I'll have to fence everything.
As long as there's a fence there, like, that's what I was more so just concerned about. I didn't want like some little kid to like live right there and be like, oh, let me just wander down the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We obviously wouldn't fence, I say outside of the property, it's, I mean, it's that big hill there.
yeah.
So when we build, that's actually one reason why that's we need to fence our facility from a security standpoint. So. Less people wandering in and more people stopping, we're gonna, that's the truth. Yes, we would. We're gonna fence.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Want to protect who it wants.
Alrighty, any more discussion or comments that we will talk about? Alright, can I get a motion for rezoning RZ 052026?
So I'll make the motion that we approve rezoning of from agriculture to light industrial of the property we're talking about, and the file number RZ 052026 to be approved as applied for.
Can I get a second?
Of course, I'll say.
Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, Jenny, can you call a roll, please?
Matt?
Aye.
Mary?
Yeah.
Bill? Oh, no Bill. Seth?
Yep.
David?
Yes.
By my count, the motion is approved. Next item is a recommendation of an ordinance accepting sanitary sewer infrastructure on 9th Street Terrace. Shauna. you, whoops. Yeah. Can I get a motion for this ordinance accepting the sanitary sewer infrastructure? Oh, shit.
I can still speak to it. Okay, so this is an ordinance to accept sewer infrastructure on 9th Street Terrace. Per regulations, this will goes in front of P and Z for your recommendation, and then it'll go to the Board of Aldermen. This is it's actually the only private sewer that we have left or remaining in the area or in the community. So the problem with having private sewer when we have a public sewer department is that the owners in that area, I don't remember the exact year of when those houses really went in. It wasn't as part of a subdivision, so they kind of just periodically popped up. And at the time, there was an agreement amongst those who lived there that they could connect to the guy who lived at the end of the end of the road and something like that. So it creates problems for the people who live there now. They were not a part of the original agreement. And that sewer needs to be maintained, and it creates a liability for those property owners who are really responsible for privately maintaining the sewer, but it would require collection of all of the neighbors in the neighborhood to then come together to try to privately pay for that sewer. So just in I guess good will, if you will, the city is willing to take on that private sewer, and we've spoken with all of the property owners. Only 3 of the property owners on that street actually will require an easement. Those property owners have all agreed to and signed off on the easements, which I think are included in your packet. So the final stage to get this to where the city of Odessa can maintain and take care of the sewer on 9th Street Terrace would be this ordinance. So we have the ability, we have the skill set, we have the staff, we have all of the things to be able to take care of it, to where those who didn't create that original agreement when the homes went in, they do not have necessarily that ability, or makes it very difficult for them to be able to take care of it, and all infrastructure ages. So any questions? I'm sorry. Skipping?
Yeah, I'm supposed to take them up.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said my name. You said my name. I thought it was my turn.
That's my bad. You know,
Sorry. Well, go ahead and do your part then.
it makes me feel awkward. Can I get a motion for this ordinance accepting the sanitary sewer infrastructure?
Can I ask a question first?
That comes next.
I have another question. So did the one on Second Street get taken care of? Or was there one on Second Street? Cause I thought that was the one that was initially the problem. And I couldn't help but laugh. The long story, that's how I met Shauna. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, cause I thought Second Street was the one that had the private sewer line, or originally had a private sewer line. So I just wondered if like all of the private, this would be the last one, or if we needed to talk about if there was any more just before we did this. And left them all together, cause I thought there was one on Second Street.
I'll be honest, I don't remember a private sewer on Second Street, but I can check into that.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is I'll share a quick story. That's how I met Shauna was. I had a sewer issue and a previous mayor told me that I owned a private sewer. And it became a fiasco and Shauna had to come in and save the day and be like, nope, this was not a private sewer. And that's how I thought Second Street had a private one, because that's what I was told was Second Street was a private sewer. So I would encourage you to check that. That's something.
I will definitely check that, but according to our wastewater superintendent, it's the last private sewer.
I just wanted to double check that and make sure that we are eliminating all of them and those.
If there is, we'll do the same process.
Okay.
It does take cooperation from all of the neighbors in that area, but it's, I know it's thanks to them, so. But that is definitely a goal. That's why we wanted to get this done, so there wasn't any, so if there are any remaining, then we'll work to get those. Up with.
Thank you. And then I'll make a motion to approve this.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, so we have any discussion?
I will just interject, that's the practice that we do, with the Board of Aldermen. You do, first motion, or a motion, second, then discussion. We have not necessarily done that with you guys until today, so that's probably why you're sensing that change.
He just doesn't.
Oh, yeah,
moving
pick
forward.
each other, it's fine.
Moving forward, motion, second, discussion.
All right, so no discussion. All right, cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Right on. Motion has passed. All right, now we're gonna continue our discussion on parking and driveways.
I was gonna say they're good to go. Yeah.
Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, we appreciate you.
Unless you want to discuss the parking discussions. It's up to you.
No. And help improve that, no?
Thank you, Robbie. Okay, parking.
Terrible. Is this gonna be off of here?
Yeah.
Cause I'm trying to start no drama.
I mean, you are.
I'll tell you that.
Are we good?
I'm always good.
Parking?
Where'd you go?
Okay. The one thing I will just caveat, I think you guys are all aware, but since our last meeting when we talked about parking, the whole garage requirement for single family. So that's what our special meeting for next week is to fix that problem that we identified in our last meeting. So our next meeting will have, or next week, a week from today, we'll discuss that ordinance. And then that will go in front of the board for their approval. We did want to expedite that just because it did have an immediate impact to our development community. So we got calls pretty quickly after our last meeting with concerns about their working plans that they have submitted or planning to submit soon that did or did not have a 2-car garage. So that's why we expedited the special meeting for next week. Okay. And then the other thing is the storage containers was not on the agenda. We can kind of discuss now. Do you guys want to, next week is a special meeting. We can either talk about storage containers at that next meeting, or we can just put it back to our next regular scheduled meeting. I was unable to get to that in time between our 2 meetings. I was hoping to get the revisions that we discussed fixed, and I was not able to. So that's why it's not on the agenda tonight.
I would say just if we can squeeze it into the next meeting, squeeze it into the next one, if not, then the next general meeting. Is what I'm comfortable with.
I'm good with that.
Okay, we will try.
But if we have to wait till the next one, I mean, oh shoot, we have to talk about storage containers in a month.
Oh, no.
My brain started spinning with storage containers, so I needed a break.
Yeah, with
Okay.
all the different types and everything that, some of us just had to bring up.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate
Well, see, whatever I can do to make
it.
everything better.
Well, that they just put in a new storage container, coffee shop in Blue Springs.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I got,
They shipped it in, it's like right behind Five Guys,
Really?
they brought it in on a semi.
Okay, for parking discussions, we really didn't deep dive, we didn't get very far into the parking discussions last time, so we've got some time now, we can really get going on that. So let's just start with the ordinance for next week, so we don't bring you an ordinance that you don't like. But what we've done it's only for single family, that's what we'll be looking at the next meeting. And what we've done is for I wish I had it in front of me, but I don't. But we basically have said 2 parking spaces for each unit, and then put parentheses exclusive of garage interior space, which is what we discussed. But the single family breaks it down into 3 groups. One being, I guess it's in here.
Garage
It's right here. Yeah, one of them is just regular single family dwelling. One is garage apartment, and one is guest rooms. Guest rooms doesn't provide a lot of explanation as to what that means by guest rooms, but since it's for single family only, our interpretation of that would be like a mother-in-law suite, any additional living space beyond a garage apartment. So that one's currently says, so single family dwelling and garage apartments both require 2 parking spaces for each dwelling unit. And then we put parentheses exclusive of the garage space. And then guest room says 1 parking space for each lodging room. And then we could do the same thing and put parentheses exclusive of garage space. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm sorry.
Let me just see if I clarify.
Well, let me follow along with me because that might help a little bit. So if you go into your packet where she has the highlighted ones.
Yeah, that top
Yep,
one.
the very top one. So 5058 is the only thing we'll be discussing at the next for an ordinance change. It'll just be that section, 50-58. So what I was trying to say was that it splits it up into 3 different categories for single family types. For parking that would be included in single family. So it has a regular single family dwelling. So that's just your typical home. It has garage apartments, and it has guest rooms. So that's 5058 is what we need to revise for our next meeting. And I was explaining how I chose to revise it. But if you don't agree, let me know now, and then we'll bring the preferred method to our meeting on Thursday.
So I have a question because I live in a duplex. I have 2 bedrooms. But really my second one is a guest room because I live alone.
Yeah, no, it
That
wouldn't be
doesn't-
that. No.
I mean, the way it's worded,
Yeah,
you could take that as that.
I agree. I think it needs to be cleaned up for
Yeah, it
sure.
needs- There needs to be a definition of guest room or something, because that could be,
It definitely has some question marks. So I guess my question to you all would be, what do you consider to be a guest room in a single family building? It does not, I can tell you that it's not that. That's not what this is referring to, because a single family dwelling is one home. That can be a 4-bedroom house or it can be a 10-bedroom house. But a single family dwelling is one home. A duplex would be a 2-family dwelling. So when it says per dwelling space,
yeah.
it'd be
I
2
think
parking
if you
spots.
had a house that was just a 2-bedroom house
Mhm.
and you live there alone, is the second bedroom a guest room? No.
Yeah.
I mean, in most people's minds,
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Because that's where your guests stay. So if you have a definition of,
I think
Guest
calling
room.
it a guest room is probably what we need to change.
yes, I think so.
So my question, because Oak Grove just did ADUs. And Odessa was not on our list of neighboring communities that house them.
For-
That would be an entirely separate part of the code to be allowed.
For what?
The auxiliary dwelling, which is your mother-in-law suites, all of that. Because I was not under the impression. In single family residential neighborhoods, not very often.
I'm not under the impression that we don't.
I know there are some houses. Maybe it's on Third Street. I can't remember. But there was originally the house, now the garage has also been turned into an apartment.
Which that would be allowed.
So in our code, it says guest room means any room or unit where sleeping accommodations are regularly furnished to the public. That sounds
Oh,
more
so like
a
if you're renting it out.
Airbnb is more what that sounds like.
That's description.
Mhm.
Well, that makes sense why it says 1 parking space for each lodging room. That makes sense instead of dwelling. Because it's like a rental. So do we,
We could change it to private guest.
does that help us any though?
I don't know, I asked ChatGPT and that's what they do. Yeah. Like, it would be like a privately accessible. From the main house, is what I feel like we're getting. It's like it would be its own separate like ensuite,
That's what I'm picturing ensuite.
like it's like.
Probably. Because that was the way that. Since probably if you separate ones, like the guest on each side on it, which you want, that are running off the back of the house, where the Lego stuff, have the door to it, on the front of the house. But if one, there's all sorts of fire codes that deal with it. So I'd be really surprised if we do allow it to do it.
Well, that's our problem with our code though, is that it doesn't say you can't do it. So when someone tries to do it, we can't tell them no. So there's the only time the word ancillary comes into our code is under adult businesses. So, oh,
But I think it would deal with the R1 codes in what is allowed in R1, which is the one family doers.
Yeah, it's not included in our code anywhere. Hmm,
Don't think that's a conflict, but that's,
because it's allowing for more than one family,
Yeah.
so it would be either single family or duplex
correct,
or multifamily.
yes. Excuse why that's in there unless it's in there because, and I do believe there are some that were grandfathered in before zoning, which I think might be some of the stuff on Third Street.
This code was written in 2012.
Yeah. So it's that way. Yeah, we're going back to the real. I know some of this came up when I first started covering something in 2013.
So in my opinion, then I think we take it out. And if we need to make a separate ordinance on guest room, ensuite, it's its own category.
I think it followed with multifamily building,
I think we'd have to treat it that way in this today.
I would agree.
But I also feel like people probably renovate their basement into an additional living space with a separate private entrance and we have no idea. So,
A few of those.
yeah,
yeah.
I don't see how it's different or how you'd be able to differentiate between the two.
I think the only way you would be able to differentiate it is if it has two different addresses. Like if they made the basement, their main floor A and downstairs B.
Yeah.
Then I think that'd be the only way that you could.
And then you're back into duplex.
Well, so I can explain a little bit because again, Oak Grove just did like 3 months on this. It gets into, all of the electrical has to be separate. It's whether or not you can put a second kitchen. in your
Firewalls.
house. Firewalls, yes. So, if you have a basement with an outside door, but you can still get to that basement from the house, that's cool, that's kosher. You're doing whatever you want, you can rent out rooms within your own home. It's when it's totally separate and so that you can rent it out to someone else. Or someone can live out totally independent of it, it's different. There are, like I said, there are electrical boxes and everything.
That makes sense. I do think it should be a separate ordinance though, if we want to try to address that. Have you guys sensed the trend yet? Every single time we try to fix something, we create a new problem. It seems to be the trend.
I would just remove guest rooms.
Just what?
I would just remove guest room and make it.
I agree.
I agree.
And I mean, for the extent garage apartments is debatable, but I know that people have garage apartments, so I think we have to
should
keep
just
that.
Separate it out and put both of those into their own ordinance and just make it a if this then that kind of thing,
But then again,
We have to have parking for single family in this ordinance too.
Yeah,
but then if you go to the garage apartment deal, if you're actually truly renting it out and everything.
Is
you have
how's it?
Separate meters.
Yeah.
Separate gas, all that comes through permitting, so the city's gonna know because you got full permit. to Do that, whether you're having your contractor pull it or if you as a homeowner are doing the work yourself, you still have to pull it permit, otherwise you get hit by it. When you find out.
Mm-hmm. I think we keep 1 and 2, remove 3. Keep 1 and 2 will both say 2 parking spaces for each dwelling unit, parentheses, exclusive of garage interior space. Okay, And then I'll have Jenny add a new ordinance to our list of ordinances that we now need to create. Okay, all right, that's done. And then for, let's see. Let's go to duplex parking, which is 50-225. I'm gonna skip that configuration section. We'll come back to that. So are we going to just keep this kind of same trend? Obviously this one has guest rooms too, so we would need to remove it. But do we want to keep the same trend of 2 parking spaces for each dwelling unit exclusive of interior garage space? Okay. Alrighty, multifamily, 50-249. Same thing.
The only thing I would say here is the only time that well, I don't know. The only thing I would say there is like if it's a single unit, like it's a 1 bedroom or a studio, I would be okay with them only having 1 parking spot for like that small of the unit, but if it's a 2 or 3 bedroom, then I think like you would need at least 2 spots.
Mhm,
You're gonna have 2 car garage, you're gonna have 2 parking spots outside of it,
mhm.
because you're in your driveway. But, so are you really solving anything about like those apartments over there that you can't park on the street? And now you have a guest that comes and you've got 2 bedrooms and your son's got a car and your daughter's got a car and you've got a car and your
Mhm.
husband's got a car.
But with Pine Creek Townhomes, we have it where each of those units has a 1-car garage, and then the parking space is immediately behind that 1-car garage. So you don't have another place for 2 people to go in and out. So that's what we're fixing, is that whenever you do have multi-unit apartments, and they choose to do a garage, they can't count that garage. They would have to have 2 individual spots for that singular unit. And to your point, I agree, but I think we keep it uniform in the ordinance and allow for a variance if necessary. So if someone comes in and puts in 100-unit all studio apartments, they're probably going to need a variance of some sort.
So
Is that-
Green Valley does have theirs 1 per efficiency or studio.
True. You guys have these in front of you, the handout,
So
So
it's
you can-
easier to read.
so you can see. Let me have one. You can see on there.
But if that's the case, then no one can come visit this or not.
That's true. Well, and that's why Green Valley did, and Blue Springs have theirs kind of increased. Higginsville also, so maybe we need to be more restrictive on multifamily. And that is kind of the whole reason why we're here, why we started this conversation, was because of multifamily and limited parking. So,
Everything. Parking spots. Get the cars off the street as much as possible.
mhm,
That's really my thought of the end goal.
You can go to 1 car parking spot.
Leave the cars off the middle of the
Right.
street. I know I've had my car hit.
I think that's kind of the point though, is if you have a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment, which is not as common, but it's still a possibility, they're gonna have more than 2 cars, and then those extra cars are going to be parking on the street. So should we?
Minimum. Keep our minimum.
Oh.
2 to 2. Minus garage parking, like we've been saying, but just have everything nice and uniform. Where, even if you have the studio or the efficiency, you're gonna have friends over, you're gonna have family over, you'll have that spot. Or because I'm living in a studio and I'm only paying this much, I could probably have 2 cars. Or a play toy and my vehicle, so you're gonna need park that as well. That's my only thought, is keep it as uniform as possible. That's gonna relieve a lot of headaches down the road. Make everybody do stuff same. And then if it comes in, like she was saying, I get a, 100 studio apartments, come in and ask, say, hey, do I really need 200 parking spots?
Yeah, I feel like that would also be easy to discuss about that, like.
I mean,
It'd be-
just keeping it simple with just numbers, because I'm slow.
Right there with you, I grew up in Williams building, right?
Mhm. So do you want to keep it at 2 across the board, or do we want to flex for additional bedrooms?
I would flex for additional. Higher,
Yeah,
I'd say like, under 3. Keep it at 2
So
or 3 bedrooms.
generally it's 3 parking spaces per 3 bedrooms. So if you look at this
Right now.
column, you can see what others are doing.
if you got a bedroom, you need a parking spot. Cause I mean, look at me, I got 2 kids. If I went and moved into a different house with 3 bedrooms, both of my kids drive. I mean, it's different for people with young children, obviously, but you're gonna have more space right there.
Yeah, but with young kids, kind of friends and relatives and holidays.
Birthday parties, yep.
Young kids grow up.
So Grain Valley's kind of capped theirs at 3 per 3 bedroom and didn't get into the 4-bedroom territory.
I feel like we should cap it at some point, because I feel like it could get a little bit.
There's no yards.
Just concrete.
Yeah.
Parking lot.
10-bedroom apartment complex.
It's not like maybe we should make it like 4. That's like you got a 5-bedroom house and you don't need parking for 4 cars, where you also.
Man, that's not a bad idea.
So that looks, is that similar to what Higginsville is doing?
Yeah.
Higginsville seems the most detailed and
I like Higginsville's layout personally, that lays it out real nice. And I mean, if you can afford 5+ bedrooms, then yeah, you're gonna have 5+ cars, probably.
Or you're gonna have multi-families living in that one.
multiple families.
Or intergeneration.
Do we want this to apply to multifamily, duplex, and single family, or just multifamily?
All of that.
All of them.
So like the bigger the house, the more parking spots.
And then on top of that framework, it would also be exclusive of garage parking.
Yes.
They also have a 1.5 parking spots per studio.
2.
2 minimum, start at 2. Okay,
What do you say?
I don't know. I think it would be if you have like 10 units.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you have 10 units, 1-bedroom studio, then that would create 5 extra parking spots. But still, guaranteed by rental, would.
I think if we just try and keep the ordinances and stuff as simple as possible, we're not gonna run into this 15 years down the road where we're all grayer than I am now.
So,
The next batch comes through and it's like, well, this guy's thinking.
okay, so just impact wise on single family. With single family, you have obviously a little bit more street parking available to you than you would in a multifamily development. Just thinking out loud here, if you have a very large subdivision go in of all single family homes and every house has 5 bedrooms, you would have to have 5 is it 8 or 9 by 20 parking space? You'd have very large driveways is what I'm trying to say. Is that what we're comfortable with? And I think it would also be an impact or shift to how we've been doing things in the development community in Odessa.
I feel like at that point it would have to be PUD, but
This would just be for a basic single family development. So if the Hill development, every single house they built was 5 bedrooms. That wouldn't be a PUD necessarily.
I thought it was but that's part of, well, I thought it was gonna be PUD just because of how close. Or that's why they started working on it.
No, we thought about it. That's not the route we ended up going though.
My thought on it is if we got a development coming in with all these 5-bedroom houses, they're gonna be on extended lot sizes. You know, it's gonna be like,
Maybe.
and they're gonna have the room to have that. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, I got a 4-bedroom,
Yeah.
but I'm on a double lot.
Do you
So
have
I'm kind of lucky.
3 parking spaces on your driveway?
I
Oh yeah.
got.
Yes, I do remember.
Can I'm listening, as I said I was gonna do, can I just ask a quick question? My wife's wondering where I'm at right now, probably. I would hear mainly Marlon Dyer, 210 North Johnson, just. And when I listened to you say, Matt, about parking on the street. I came mainly because I read something about parking on the street. And I just didn't want, I don't want to see something like Johnson Drive where there hadn't been parking for over 30 years. And I feel for those people down the street for me, the new houses, but I just was hoping that nobody was talking or thinking about saying, well, we need to do something so they can park on the street there. But what I heard you say is like, I thought, well, I don't think that's what he's thinking. So I just wanted some clarification as far as that we're
trying to eliminate or reduce street
Yeah.
parking.
Yeah, which that's what I feel very strongly about.
Yeah.
So I just don't think, there's some streets that we can park on, it's okay. Johnson Drive and some others are not a street you want to be parking on.
I agree.
So there's no discussion of moving that direction. You guys are trying to figure out how to keep that from happening. I'm gonna go home and have supper then, let you all. I did learn a lot tonight, though. Always do.
We are looking for a new member.
I hear somebody calling.
We'll send you an email. We got that.
That's funny.
I think you bring up a really valid point, but at the same time, I still think that it should be a forefront. Like, I just can't see. I can't see there not being enough parking to get cars off the street.
Mhm.
And I also think about like whenever we need to clear a street for snow and
Mhm.
everything like that. So even if we're talking about like big houses come with expensive cars, which also come with, if they get hit by a snowplow, then that becomes who's gonna pay for the plow and whose fault is it? I feel like if you got a big house, you get them off the street.
I don't wanna see them look like parking lot, and if you have. And we're not including, garages, but you have 2 of your cars in the garage. You can have 2 of them on the outside, if you have that 3rd space. Then you've got a place to put cars so one can get out and you can ship things around, or if you got a bunch of kids driving. That's 3 more spaces there, plus you've got your 2 main cars in the garage. I think you need to go over that.
So
If you
no
have 5
more than 3 driveway parking spaces is what you're saying.
I'm just
For the
trying to
bigger, if you're gonna
Single
go by
family.
size.
For single family.
picture in my mind. You got a 2-car garage. So you got your 2 spaces here. So you're just gonna block this. And like, when I look at it in my mind, I'm like, okay, to, and then the street. You know what I mean? Or are you gonna go like? That makes more sense to me, so you're gonna end up having 4 anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Basically, you'd have,
Make your drive with your driveway area, I guess, or what comes off the garage, almost a car length longer than where the entrance is to your garage. Then you've got that extra space.
so basically you'd have to have at minimum a 40-foot long driveway. And potentially,
Yeah, there's that.
40 by 27-foot driveway would accommodate at least 5 cars.
Yeah. like-
Oh, it'll never fit in an infill lot. Never ever. They'd have, so then your infill lots would have to be reduced to smaller homes, smaller bedroom homes, and or a variance. Which we're trying to reduce
Trying
the
to avoid,
variance.
yes.
Most likely to not park in the garage.
Some people don't park in the garage, 'cause it's full of stuff.
Mhm. That's very true.
It's towards you, that's all it is.
Yep.
The bigger the house, the less likely that is, unless they transfer the garage to a bar. Like some people.
My house, 4 bedrooms. Big 2 detached garage, and it's full of shit. Sorry. I keep. Do it.
There's somebody Wellington who's running for county commissioner, who he was on the school board in Wellington. He used similar language, but
Oh,
I think we cap it at least at minimum at either 3 or 4 spaces. I think having 5 spaces is a lot.
I even think more money.
Yeah, I'm just looking at houses right now on Zillow of new builds in Green Valley, 3-car garage, and you can definitely fit 6 cars in that driveway.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, a 40-foot long driveway is not 40-foot long. Well, that's the next thing we need to talk about is the driveway size, location, and configurations. So if we can hammer this out, then we build the configurations to match. But our parking spot size requirement is 9 by 20. So you'd have to accommodate 9 by 20 times however many we're requiring in the driveway. Does that make sense?
Well, I was thinking about my car. And I just did some calculations, because it's basically 16 feet long. And that's a Ford Fusion, so that's not a huge car, but it's a 4-door sedan. You know, of course, if I'm driving a 1968 Cadillac, then, you know, it's longer than that, but still still 20 feet, to me, that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm. I
yeah,
think-
I mean, you get a 4-door long bed.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're right there.
excursion.
Yep.
So what are we landing on for? We decided a 2-space minimum. Are we going to cap it at 3 or 4? Or are we not capping it?
What do you say?
I say 4.
Alright, what do you think?
Are you talking about like a 5-bedroom?
Yeah, it'd just be capped at 3 or 4 spaces, no matter how many bedrooms.
I'd say at least 3. The 4 it's probably already gonna be there if you have a 5-bedroom. You're gonna have at least a 2-car garage, and you're gonna have. probably-
But we're excluding
Enough.
garages.
Right, but with that, you're probably gonna have the driveway for 4 cars, most, I would think.
What do you think? 4-3. Chair mistakes sometimes. I'm a little torn, but I can see both sides on it. I personally, if I was building it and I was doing that many bedrooms, I'd have 4 anyway, because how I would end up laying out the deal, but I can see your point too, is like, why, so.
Kind of idea for you. That's when we made it, what if we look at Higginsville's code, 3 to 4 bedrooms is 3 spaces. Over 4 bedrooms, 4 spaces. And we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that more.
I was really liking Higginsville code. I thought they had it laid out really nice. If you are able to do a 5+ bedroom, you need to have 4 spaces.
But it's like, we just keep it simple, that way we're all kind of meeting in the middle there.
So when we're talking about bedrooms, so we're talking about main floor. Like the ranch. 3 so I've got 3 bedroom ranch, but I have 2 in the basement. Or I have 1 over the garage.
I think it's a legal bed.
That should be like for the ad bills. For the ad bills.
But
May not
no,
show it.
I'll fix your basement, maybe right away.
I know, well,
So
we're not
now
gonna
you've built a
require you.
3 bedroom house, you only need the driveway.
These would be all together.
You're not gonna be required to do it.
Maybe.
No, you won't be.
Well,
I was like, saying, you're not gonna.
There's ones over here. They probably don't have pictures of
How
them.
it's laid out. I would base it on the developed plans of the house. So the as-built of the house, if they say this is a 3-bedroom house, unfinished basement, then you gotta follow the rules for a 3-bedroom. And you know what, if you finish it out, parking's on you, but.
No, I agree, that's all what you're doing. You've got the ability to add 6 more bedrooms in that basement, and you only have to have 3 cars.
You guys are gonna be doing shuffling every morning, trying to get it right.
But just know
Oh,
that
yeah.
like,
Those, that's a
Maybe
prime example.
get a ticket for Park on Street at some point.
Or you may get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think a good point is to think about infill lots too, even though we're kind of running out of infill lots, but like a lot of the times the infill lots are on the grandfathered lot sizes, so it's smaller than our ordinance even allows, because they're like 50-foot wide. Very small homes. So some of those new, but they're still able to fit those. I'm looking at Dryden right now, all those new homes that popped up with the 1-car garages. Those are 900 square feet, 3-bedroom. This one's 1,093 square feet, 3-bedroom. 960 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
They're the same builder. There's 2 right there, they're all the same builder.
That's small.
But those are still 3-bedroom and very, very small houses that, I mean, I just am Google Street viewing. I mean, those driveways are not, you can fit 2 cars on those driveways.
You can't on these. I know you can't fit 2 cars right up here. But
On
this-
Dryden?
So whatever's right here by the nursing home, it's the same layout, you cannot.
Oh,
fit
those.
2 Yeah, you cannot fit 2 cars in that driveway.
I don't know, I guess the way I'm looking at it is, you wanna build a house, you gotta follow these rules. And if you can't fit that house and these rules, then
Yeah, that's the exact
you
same.
drop down
You
your
could
number of
fit 2.
bedrooms.
I can go along the sidewalk. I don't know if it's good, go along the sidewalk.
You
Yeah.
think that's less than 20 feet?
I am pretty sure those are pretty teeny tiny.
Well, those are the prime example. That exact layout that we're talking about is the reason why we need to fix the ordinance, because we've been allowing them to do it incorrectly.
Yeah, so like that's my concern is that I mean, I do think that the one solution to that problem is that if that lot is grandfathered in, then like, I don't think we have a say over what happens like now. I think.
But if they're trying to build on it, they still have to comply with these types of codes.
Yeah,
Just like when you update your electric house, or even if you change one thing, you have to update everything to the code that the city is following. So I don't know. I don't wanna sound like a jerk, but it's kinda like, hey man, these are the rules, play by it.
Okay. So 3 or 4.
Let's go dig it.
Four, 4 spaces.
So
Are we taking out the +1 per bedroom over 5 though? To cap it at 4?
I could go 10.
Okay. Got it. Alrighty. Now that we've got that, and then we'll exclude garages. It should be good. Alright, let's move to the parking and driveway size, location, and configuration. So it's under 50-59. But then it's also number 4 on under R2. And letter B under multifamily. But I think it says it the exact same way each time. So I'm looking at 50-59. So individual parking spaces regardless of shape shall provide a clear rectangular parking space if not less than 9 feet in width and a length of not less than 20 feet. Parentheses, plus required accessibility space as required for disabled parking where applicable. Any objections to the 9x20 rule?
Makes sense.
Okay. And then B, a parking space shall be provided at a location off public right-of-way and outside of the site clearance triangle at right-of-way intersections as prescribed elsewhere in this code. So that's kind of what you're saying with the sidewalk. There's not always sidewalk in right-of-way, but it's saying that you can't block that right-of-way. Basically the boulevard area with the parking. So really it wouldn't even be, so I was saying earlier, you'd have to have a 40-foot driveway. It'd really be a little bit more to get two parking stalls and then account for the right-of-way.
I always think that's also a little controversial too on that, just because there could be houses across the street with no sidewalk, and you know, they could fit 4 cars in that driveway, and then on the other side, that sidewalk goes right through.
Well, that's why they used right-of-way, not sidewalks. So it's equal for no matter what.
The guy on the right side is gonna just have to have a longer driveway overall than the dude on the left. And also, you pick that house on that side.
Where you see there's as prescribed elsewhere in this code. Can you see if you can see where it's prescribed elsewhere in the code? Driveway locations and approach configuration shall be constructed in accordance with this code. That's kind of like a catch-all.
Where are we supposed to construct our driveways up?
What? I don't know. Driveway ingress and egress shall be confined to and shall not exceed 25 feet in width, exclusive of curb. So this is where we were saying earlier that there's no driveway width requirement in our code. There's a driveway ingress and egress requirement in our code, but not a driveway width, 2 different things. So do we want a driveway width or not? Did we do a comparison with?
What we have with this,
Coverage.
Yeah, you're 9 foot.
Not by 20, right?
Oh, yeah.
20, that's your
Yeah.
minimum.
We have a
Minimum,
True.
there's no maximum, like.
Yeah, there's no
coverage.
maximum. Yeah, but are we comfortable with like entire parcels being their entire front area to be parking, or should we like cut it off somewhere?
Yeah, like, it don't
They
look
want
like
their front yard to be a parking lot, I guess. I mean. We also have to think that. I mean, where does it end trying to decide how big somebody's driveway is gonna be? I mean, we're telling them the minimums, which if they wanna build more, they want their front yard to be all concrete. I don't know that there's,
I don't think it's up to us to
Except-
take people's choice away.
All these other cities did it. Blue Springs has a 50% of front yard. You can't do more than 50% of the front yard.
I was gonna say, is there a rule of how much green space or something is left in the?
I mean, that's what you're taking away. You could end up with like a whole subdivision of Odessa looking like downtown Kansas City if you just say, okay, no front yards are required. And that's just all parking. Mhm.
well, you won't have to worry about the weed ordinances or
Mowing your grass, having leaves.
trees.
Gravel.
Yeah.
So blue,
They use gravel, it's all green perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, thank you, you're helping me out.
but you can't necessarily park on gravel. I guess you could.
That's what we're gonna work on. We're gonna let Matt park on gravel.
Ay. Okay, Blue Springs has 50% of front yard, max width 35 feet, corner lots max width 45 feet. Grain Valley has ingress and egress can't exceed 20 or 35 feet, which is 10 more than ours. And that's it. I mean, I guess, am I wrong when I say that and the max ingress and egress is different than your max driveway? Do you guys agree? Because to me, the ingress and egress is just like the apron where you pull in.
Into the driveway
Right.
off of the street.
Okay, I just want to make sure it was.
Come in like this, if you wanna go like
Right.
that, that's on you. If you got the money to do that,
Which is, I think is, we want to have the ability for people to add on to their driveways too. And you see the three, like the two regular, just plain driveway and then like the little branch. Paved branch, but yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It makes me feel better. I haven't been around with county gravel driveways the other day.
did you come down my street?
There.
Green.
Oh, there's a ton of
On yours?
here.
We have a great idea on that, so.
Okay, we'll get to it.
Okay.
And then Oak Grove also has a not to exceed of 35 feet. So do we want a not to exceed or not? We also have to remember 9 times 3 spaces is, what was that, 27 feet? So if you had a not to exceed of 35 feet, you could get almost,
you'd have 4 wide parking spaces almost.
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So
And also-
a max width of 35 is still a lot of parking.
That makes a huge driveway that they. I mean, most of the time you're not gonna get more than one car backing at a time, but I mean, 2, but in that case, you could have 4 cars there and they all decide to back out at the same time. I mean, that'd be a silly thing to do, but
Well, that's where the max ingress egress
yeah,
comes into play.
yeah,
I mean, and that makes it to where you ain't got 72 cars trying to come out of a
35 foot.
Well, I guess Oak Grove says the width of the driveway throat shall not exceed 35 in width. So it's just the ingress and egress too.
That's,
I mean, that's a big entrance to a residential
That's
driveway.
big.
I like,
Ours is 25.
yeah, I mean, that's decent.
Arguably, if we have 9-foot wide parking spots, it should be 27
That'd be 27.
instead of 25.
Should be 27 then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're saying 9 by 20 feet and ingress and egress not to exceed 27 feet in width. And that's it. No driveway max. Good with it.
I mean, if you guys wanna go with, like she said, Blue Spring, where they got a 50% green space, we could say something, I mean, I don't like being told what to do, obviously. You guys can tell that, but, I mean, I understand it. I'm still gonna try and fight for my problem, but, you know.
But most people that are building a house and most people that are designing a house, they allow for green spaces and.
Yeah.
Most people like to have a front yard, they don't, you know, so it's, I don't think it's
I don't think it's
that big a deal that we're trying to come up with.
Ours is 25. 27 would be 3 9 by 20 parking spots. Right?
What's the decimal? There's nothing in here, is there, that talks about circle drives? So you would have
No.
two
Oh, well,
driveways
yeah, you could.
coming in.
Well, you do 5+ bedrooms.
We don't address that, I guess.
But.
Says rectangle, or regardless of shape.
Oh, yeah, it says,
Provide a
So-
clear rectangular
so
parking
We
space.
don't want.
yeah, so I guess they're not allowed.
Not loud?
Yeah, you'll.
It says shall provide a clear rectangular parking space.
Well,
That
you
would be
still
a
could
fair-
have.
Oh, I guess you could
Here's
have
what
it.
I'm thinking
You could
about.
have your 9 by
You have
20.
your two driveways or two parking, two car garage there, and here you have, so you can come in. But over here, I put in a circle drive to be able to come in right in front of my door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, is there anything in the codes, ordinances that say? you
The only
can't
thing
do
I
that?
would maybe say it would be treated as 2 separate, well,
Well, I'm not parking.
All the way around.
Mhm.
would that be 2 separate 27 width requirements? Or would the 27 then be split in 2?
Yes, they can have that 27 foot each month,
This year.
even though it's just a driveway and not it is an ingress, egress.
So it's gonna.
It says a driveway ingress and egress shall be confined to, so I would say 27 for each.
More than 27. Now, cause if you have a lot that's 150 feet wide, you know, you may want to do that.
Yeah, okay. That's doable.
I just wondered if it was.
Okay, all right, so we'll move on from that one so we can get to gravel. The last one on here says off-street driveway and parking areas shall be constructed and maintained with asphalt, concrete, or other approved paving materials capable of supporting all vehicles upon or used thereon in all weather conditions without emitting dust or mud onto an adjacent street or adjoining property during normal and customary use.
Can't have gravel.
Guys are stressing me out.
I know it does, it says, can maintain a vehicle and doesn't emit dust, and there is gravel that doesn't emit dust.
Or mud.
Well, yeah, they can build it, right?
Yeah, if you build it right,
Yeah,
it'll do
build it
nobody
right.
at all.
I mean, that's where I'm getting with, we gotta lay the foundation. Tell them, if you're gonna do this, this is what you gotta do, you gotta have minimum, 4 to 6 inch base.
I don't want to see it in construction.
Well, no, not.
Well, not for construction, I think anything. Yeah, I think if anything that doesn't have enough parking, all construction. Then, being able to maintain, cause like. I
Well,
think
you
of
could
her-
live in a neighborhood that has a percentage of gravel driveways. Like, in Centennial Hills, there are no gravel driveways, start putting gravel down.
A lot of people aren't
Very
gonna
bad.
put gravel down because then it gets in your yard, it
Yeah.
gets trapped into the house. Kids throw it at each other. A lot of people don't want gravel around.
Right.
Just as horrible.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Just those gravel, it's not cheap either.
No, that's not, trust me. But I just think we're a very different community. You
So
know,
this is where, you know, I agree with the percentage of driveways that are already gravel. And also no gravel in new construction.
What was the first part?
Percentage of gravel that's already in your neighborhood,
Mm,
because like, say you go down to my house, which is what I'm using. There's a ton of gravel driveways down my street. So if we were to set a percentage in your area, then if you're above that percentage, then yeah, you can add, you know, gravel. Like say for me, because I need an extra. Because my driveway doesn't even match our ordinance of 9 feet wide,
mm.
so. Yeah, right, here I am, I'm the bad guy. But yeah, my stuff's not 9 feet wide until you get up to the 2 spaces behind my detached garage, which is.
Where do you live?
405 South Third Street.
Okay. Carry on.
Oh, okay. I see you want to come up with a problem.
I just need to see your driveway.
We're gonna have code compliance out there tomorrow, man.
Sounds correct.
Yeah.
So something else that will take that a little short.
403, what'd you say?
405.
405 South what?
Oh, right, for the gravel.
No, I said,
Well, it's
And I've
like,
been looking at streets.
Big white house.
Thinking about someone who really make that.
Oh, that one maybe?
$20,000 to pay it.
Who won't do a dry pour?
Oh, that.
I get it, it's right.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you can. No, I have a 41.
Does it have a brick porch?
Yep. White,
Yeah, yeah,
the house is white siding.
yeah. I see.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, that's me. Everybody knows where to go.
Now, when's the
Where
mileage?
to live. Or, oh yeah, right.
It's probably 9 feet.
What kind of trees?
No, there's no, I drive grass to get to the house.
Is that a-
But yeah, it's a big old oak tree. It's me $1,000 to have Parker's cut a trim.
so is that a-
Well, I don't know, I just know. I got 2 walnut trees.
That looks dangerously close to 9 feet wide.
It's close, yes, but it's not, I mean, if they were to put a tape on it. It's not. It's a.
Okay,
If I go and get a variance,
so do we all agree with gravel not being allowed in new construction?
yes.
Yes.
The problem I see with the neighborhood percentage is we'd have to then define what neighborhood consists of. Cause not every house is in a subdivision in Odessa.
Maybe that one.
That's probably too big.
That would be hard to
It's that
track.
would get You and I, and with Centennial Hills and,
Clayton Park.
Clay Park.
Yeah, we don't make this any harder on our views, so.
Or us.
We could go from my house 2 streets down and this way. Boom.
I think we need to find another way to gauge it because I think counting houses will be pretty
Yeah,
wishy-washy on enforcement.
Think about too is we need to set up what is considered new construction.
Yeah.
Because if we say like there's new construction. And then in 10 years,
Or it wouldn't be new
Centennial
anymore.
Hill, yeah, it's no longer new construction and someone might be like, I got you now.
Yeah.
So we need to think about,
Well, they could. So that's what, if we said not allowed in new construction, that's new builds only.
yeah.
So like even infill, that would be a new build, new construction. But if someone in Centennial Hills now wants to turn their driveway to gravel, they could, based
So I
off of that.
think maybe a way that we could answer this problem is houses built before a certain date and a house is built after a certain date.
Yeah, houses built from 1905 to, yeah, let's say like, 20, just say 2020.
What, can we find like a happy medium? Maybe we don't go full gravel.
Sean,
Can we go like chip seal?
so the first subdivision in Odessa, Rescue subdivision, which is the private high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like in the eighties, so everything that was pre-subdivisions. I don't know of anywhere in town that was pre-subdivisions. That would be really fully, I mean, you get over by like. That might not be subdivided and they might not like that,
Well, some of them, like
but
like for example,
that's where the line is.
Yes,
It's-
in
you get to
1980.
what's this guy's name again?
Centennial Hills.
No,
I would do.
the one for, that's
Debate.
gonna be on there next
Oh.
week.
74, 84, and I have a gravel driveway.
Do you guys-
Make it 1970.
Do you guys remember the Asher lot split we just did over on Orchard replat?
Was that the one that like I was concerned about a no on because I was concerned about the driveway thing?
No, it was the one where the building, that back garage was on the property line.
Yeah, that was the one I was worried about that. Like the
Driveway. Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's where this whole conversation started.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so so that was 2 lots. And then there was a lot behind him that he was basically attaching to those 2 lots. Those 2 lots are subdivided. Everything behind those 4 lots are not they're not in a subdivision. So that's why there's just random houses that are not in subdivisions, is what I was meaning by that. Not everything's in a subdivision.
A warrant update is when you would be, go ahead, sir, Scott.
When I was in school, Centennial Hills didn't exist. It was a mean field. When Centennial Hills was bought from the build, it was where the elite of town were gonna move. That was 50 years ago. It's a nice neighborhood, but it's now just a neighborhood. So to put a born on before date isn't necessarily, not to say right, but a Clayton Park right now is new. Give it a few years, it won't be new. What's the point?
I agree with that.
Also don't like the way to fix that, though, because it could be, you can do born on date at the start, and then you can also say that you can't do it for houses that are built within 20 years of the current year. Yeah, so like
Well-
houses in 2006 could, and then 2046 could be considered old enough to have a gravel driveway.
But I still don't
That,
think
because
that's
during that, then they're not gonna be, the neighborhood won't be. You're gonna have gravel here, you're front here, it's gonna be like a mess, it's not gonna be, like if Centennial Hills, if all of a sudden people started ripping up the driveway, and putting in gravel. Awful.
It's not gonna happen.
No, I'm just
But
saying.
it could hypothetically.
Yeah,
It'll be bad.
Devalue your house.
yeah.
It's-
You're- would be bad.
My dad's neighborhood is 1970s, East Crestview. People started putting it in gravel around their areas. And that's not saying he's, he used to live on the hill out of that. So maybe overlay districts, and then maybe the neighborhoods themselves come fight for whether they want it or not.
Or we just don't allow it and we do like a chip seal alternative, which is cheaper than full blown pavement, but it provides the sealed, the dust emission, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
less than 4 to have the city help me put it right. I know, I need to do something.
Or the other thing we talked about last time was like where you can do an extension beyond your egress. That's gravel.
That's all I want. Is
That's a little bit more accepting from the
ingress
masses.
is Staying asphalt. I just need to add, and I hate to make this about me, guys, but it is. I'm sorry. It is, and I know there's others that are having the same
It's a
problem.
frequent question.
So,
Yeah.
No, like,
I mean, I just need an extra side.
One space.
Well, it's gonna be 100 foot long, but
Oh,
that wide.
I see.
there's certain houses that I can think of that are right here along Main Street that cars park in the front yard. And so it's just dirt there that at least if they
Not
have something
technically supposed
nice,
to.
which I know they're not supposed to, but we also don't have to really enforce them not to really. So
But if it gave them an opportunity,
to put something nicer, the community would look nicer. That's why I've been so adamant on, we need to give people an alternative to the economy right now, not to bring up the economy, but yeah, I don't, like, we were just joking, like, you know, put in a route or put in a concrete driveway. I don't got $20,000 to put a concrete driveway in right now.
then that's the problem.
You know, and so like, that's the problem, and that's why I'm so adamant on, we need to think about our community as a whole. And how we can help those of us that don't make $150 million an hour. You know, be able to afford some of this stuff, to be able to beautify our homes. To make it more accommodating to code, and then also. You know, if we had a nicer alternative that was cheaper than just concrete or asphalt. Then our neighbors may. You know, not be so mad that there's a giant mud puddle in our front yard.
Lost me there. Okay, so what I'm hearing is no gravel. Are we saying no gravel extensions too? If we reeled this back to, okay, you can create an extension off of your existing driveway that is gravel. Are we saying, because I had gravel not allowed in new construction?
I think it should still.
Okay.
Extension shouldn't be allowed in construction.
Okay. No gravel, period, in new construction. Are we in agreement on an extension of your existing driveway can be gravel or not?
I don't know.
So clarification.
Well, we're gonna have to clarify what an extension is. We'll have to define it.
I don't think people in Centennial Hills are gonna wanna see a gravel extension on their neighbor's driveway, or in Lakewood Park, or Hunter's Ridge. That's not gonna fly.
Do those subdivisions, I don't know much about them. Do they have HOAs?
Centennial doesn't. I mean, they're supposed to, but they never did form. And then
That is a way for each neighborhood or subdivision to
The-
then,
The only true HOA that we will have, I think, moving forward is gonna be the Hill.
Lake Park.
Clayton Park has.
Oh, it does?
so I mean,
Okay.
if people wanted to form an HOA to keep somebody from putting gravel in, that's their right. And that's what I would suggest to them. Hey, get your neighbors together, make an HOA, draft bylaws.
Are you wanting to create a a new gravel driveway next to your existing gravel driveway, or are you wanting to create additional parking? Okay.
That's all I need. Because, I mean, I got 2 spaces, as you saw, up by the detached. I have 1 single lane going out to the street. My plan that I want to do for my house, again, I'm making it about me, is I want to add 1 more lane. Probably about maybe 60% of my asphalt drive down this way. Then I want to go out this way and attach to the alley. Because I have no alley access off the back of my property, but I got an alley back there.
Yeah, go back to your house.
And in all fairness too,
Right.
I drove
I can back that up. I have 3 acres. They were originally leveled out as an area to build a giant shed. Per our current code, I would have to, if I wanted to put that giant workshop shed out there, like it was originally planned to, I would have to do a concrete driveway all the way down my hill to where that shed is. So, and I know that there's not too many houses still in town that have 3 acres attached to them, but they're at least up where I live, there's at least 4 or 5 of us that have more than 2. So,
But
I just feel like there's a reason why none of these other cities have gravel listed. I mean, there's a reason, like, I mean, with all the other things we've looked at, there's a wide range where it's like 2 parking spaces, up to 5 parking spaces, you know, all the different things we're looking at. Cities have a wide range of opportunity, but when you look at material, it's almost the same for every single one of them. And gravel's not listed.
this is for parking and situation you were talking about, building a building back there and then needing you wouldn't need it. That's not a driveway. That's a.
but it's, women still been able to do gravel. That's something we've already determined, cause like, you know, what he wanted to do, if he wanted to put in a gravel access to the alley behind his house, he can't do it.
What if we allowed gravel behind the front setback? Something of that nature. Like you could have gravel to get to the rear garage, but not necessarily to get to your house. I'm just spitballing, I don't know.
Well, that's connected to the street on new construction. We're talking about a solid area, concrete, asphalt or something like that. But if you're putting another building like, and I don't know these divisions or subdivisions you're talking about, but I know they have whatever the one is out there, I call it country club, out by that school. You don't have a country club here, so, but I mean, you know, it's very nice houses. And if they wanted to put from their house to their barn back there a gravel driveway, I don't see it. To me, I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with the parking. It's a drive.
It's access. It's access and it's not necessarily like curb appeal. Like as you're passing by, you're gonna see the normal driveway, but how you get to your rear
Yeah,
accessory building is not as visible.
right.
But not me, but somebody could say that my detached garage is an accessory building.
That's what I'm saying. You could use gravel from your house to your accessory building.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, and somebody could do that, and it would make somebody else mad.
No matter, I'm not saying no matter what we do, someone will be mad,
No
but
matter what we do, we're screwed.
this is definitely a topic that we cannot make every single person in Odessa happy with.
Could we almost open this up to like a public forum over,
No,
like,
no.
I almost feel like we should,
Absolutely not.
because I mean, I don't know.
You have
if you
no
were gonna
idea
do-
what can of worms you would just open.
I just don't know if we're gonna be able to like make a joint decision unless we pick a year, like 2006. Or 2007, which is when I graduated high school. And say like you can have gravel before 2007, as long as you're not in a subdivision, like, and then we list out the subdivisions.
I think then you're gonna end up with streets that are a mess because people who have driveways that are going bad, they're just gonna put gravel in.
You also have the maintenance perspective too, which you have that with pavement, but with gravel, you put gravel down once and then don't touch it for a decade. It's no longer a gravel driveway, it's just grass. And then you have a code enforcement thing where it's like, well, I do have gravel, but it's like not very many. And there's Like, how do we make sure that they stay gravel and not turn into grass?
But I mean, you
That's
guys.
what I was saying about, you gotta tell them. There has to be code as
Guidelines.
to how it's installed.
Mhm.
You gotta strip it, you gotta put your geotex down, you gotta put your base down, and then your gravel. And in 10 years, there are gonna be weeds and stuff, but that's when code enforcement comes back through and says, hey, you gotta do something, or you're gonna get fined.
But you'd have to say something that would allow for code enforcement to be able to do that. Like a maintenance clause.
Do we have maintenance on roads?
Mm-mm.
Concrete?
I don't think so, no.
So
Unless they become whatever the height requirement is, then for cut grass.
Cause I'm just saying, like, I know plenty of concrete driveways that are crumbling and shifting and have giant.
Yeah, my asphalt down by the street, I mean, I gotta redo it in the next couple of years, because it's getting really.
So like, I mean, if we, I feel like this is a moment of, if we're gonna say, one, you can't have, or you can have, but you have to maintain it. But we don't say nothing about the other, then really are we making a rule that's a double standard?
Mm.
You know, because I know plenty of driveways that are lopsided and cracked and crumbling, and they're creating more havoc in the street because there's concrete is. I'm thinking of specific houses right now in town that like are washing out into the street. So. You know.
So we can't enforce the ordinances that we.
I'm just saying if we don't put something in there regarding maintenance, there's nothing to enforce.
I think that
Oh, I got
you're getting into a real problem area if you do that. Most people will maintain or fix, their driveways if they have the money. Because it lowers the property value if you decide to sell it. People are gonna negotiate and your price is gonna go down, so you either fix it or one or the other. And I see this as being pertaining to whenever it's adopted and for going forward. To make this pertain to every house that's been built since 1776 or whatever year the first one was ever built here. To me, that's not what this is intended.
Depends on what it is too. If we're saying, okay, everyone needs to put pavement down all the way back to 1776, then
Yeah.
that's unreasonable.
Yes,
But if
that's
we're
it.
saying, okay, you can now have gravel driveways, then but if you're from 2026 on, you can't, then it's, you know what I mean? It just depends on what the ordinance says that we choose. Then we determine how it gets
Well, I
applied.
think it's just the adoption date, the date that you take this in, you put on there any new construction after April, whatever, 16th or 25th or whatever date it is that this pertains. Otherwise, I mean, just like your place, you'd have to put in
Oh, yeah, there you go.
some concrete, and so he wants to borrow 20,000.
Well, it's already like that now. So if you have a gravel driveway now,
Right,
you don't have to put in concrete or asphalt. So when they put in the one that's in there now, that's how they did it.
so it's someplace in there, does it say that? Or does it say after the adoption date or when this
I'd have
is
to go
passed,
back
or-
to the original ordinance, which I could probably do. 1/9/2012. Let me look, but it'll take me a
I
second.
mean, if you don't have a date that says from here forward, then. I mean, somebody go, well, it doesn't, say- I can argue that point.
Do what?
I'm not,
I was there.
Oh.
but I did stay in a holiday Inn once. Always like that.
Heck, yeah, I guess it was.
Which I will say, everything that they said is repeating what was discussed. And
So they talked about gravel in 2012.
yes, and that's where it kind of, it's always the same neighborhoods, right? You know which neighborhoods don't want it. They really don't have HOAs, and they probably don't want to create HOAs based on a single issue.
You live in sewer.
That's where created, say, overlays, because you know the hill is gravel, because the hill has gravel. Places like Third Street, they might need to take it out a little bit among themselves
It's
and decide if that's what people on Third Street want
I'll lose, absolutely.
or not.
I don't deal fast anymore.
But once you get south, you get into Preston, you get into Preston, you get that. Kind of little subdivisions. You go now.
No. Problem, if someone gets hurt.
These are subdivisions, maybe, so the nukes, the hill, but like, the hill is all gravel.
You can't take care of it.
Well, it's almost 8 o'clock. We're gonna go up strong for 2 hours.
I just want to know really quick though, like, are you guys open to adding chip seal? Cause I feel like that's what, whenever I first got here, that was like the thing, like, I want to do chip seal driveway, I want to do chip seal driveway, and that was, the city interpreted that it did not count under the asphalt or concrete list. So are we comfortable with explicitly allowing chip seal driveways? It is a sealed surface.
It's a sealed surface, right? And you still have to put a base under that, don't you?
You gotta put a base under all.
Yeah.
Well, and we don't have any base requirements though, so they wouldn't have to. They could just put gravel down and put a sealant on top of that gravel, because we don't require, we currently don't have any base requirements.
The city chip sealed a lot of the roads for them, right?
Still do.
But we said no for, I'm fine with chip seal. If the city can do it for the roads, then I don't know what someone can do it for the roads.
Are we requiring it to have a base though? A base requirement, like what this has, where asphalt with 8-inch base, concrete was, wait, what does it say? 5 inches of concrete, 6 inches of asphalt, or 3 inches of asphalt with an 8-inch base is what most of these say. I don't know what, if chip seal changes the base standard though. I guess I'd have to research that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that, but I mean, because any type of parking structure, parking surface, road, all has a base. If you don't, then you're just, like we're saying, what we don't want to happen is somebody just bringing a truckload of gravel and dumping on their grass.
Right.
That's what I was saying. You gotta have it lined out. There has to be guidelines as to what.
Including for gravel is what your point
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, including gravel, but hey, I'm not gonna force it. I mean,
What if we came up with like a few different sample verbiages and we went from there? Maybe that would help if we started with something. We could try that. I don't know. Don't know if that helps or not, but I think
like
it
I said,
gets us further than just kind of, where I feel like we might be spinning a little bit.
see where, it's a hot topic and it's hard to wanna see gravel in a nice neighborhood. But then you gotta think of, you're not gonna make anything. I mean, it's rough. I mean, I guess if we could do it, that chip seal, but it can't just be somebody throwing gravel down and putting tar over it. It's gotta be an engineered system.
I agree. We can research what the standards would be. Okay, there's 2838.
What's the fine?
Mhm.
But no fine for somebody just to gravel down.
We just talked about this with the police chief and then wrote it down on the storage container piece of paper, not the parking piece of paper.
It wasn't very much. I want to say like 50.
It's up to 500, because it would go to court, and that's the max that our judge can fine someone, is up to $500 plus court costs.
and they have to remove it, or?
Depending on what the judge, it would be the judge's decision. But it would go through municipal court, right? That's what we.
I don't.
Carl Scarborough.
I've never been in trouble out here. So.
Okay. We'll take a stab at it and try to come up with something that we can at least talk through a little bit more. Sound good?
Alrighty. Well, it's a good meeting. It is 8:03. I will take a motion. There's no further business. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, discussion. I think we've been talking enough, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?